Hi there, Klamath County. I'm Commissioner Kelley Minty Morris, and I was wearing a mask as I came in here, but I am going to take it off for the sake of audio for this interview and then put it back on after. Really pleased to be here with you today and here with Kat Rutledge. She is the director of our Small Business Development Center. We've been joking, it's kind of a mouthful, and also the Klamath Idea. And we're here to talk today about business recovery. This is the phase that we are moving into here in this community. We are moving into a phase of economic recovery, and Kat is one of those people that has her hands in all kinds of areas that are here to help our business community, to help you, to help employees. And so I wanted to pick her brain and get her vast amount of knowledge out to you. We do have one kind of exciting thing to note first, and that is that the city and county, the city of Klamath Falls and Klamath County have dedicated some money toward a grant that was then matched by Business Oregon to help with business relief. Can we share a little bit about that? I know details are still its contract's not even signed yet.
Super early stage, but it will be, that program will actually be administered by the South Central Oregon Economic Development District, SCOED, and will really help businesses who have not been served by the PPP or the EIDL programs, and they have 25 employees or fewer. Okay. And so it will be a grant program, minimum grant of $2,500. And that's really about all the details that we can share. I would think that little bugger will be ready to go in about 2 weeks. Okay. So you'll see us starting to get some marketing out and get that out on the ground to people.
And if I recall, and again, details are not all fleshed out yet, but this one is sort of a no kidding, I'm a restaurant and I need product, or it's sort of that really basic
You can use it. That's the beauty of it. I'm so proud of the state how it ended up rolling out, but you can use it for business operating, right? And that means if you need to buy inventory, if you need to buy PPP, if you need to pay some staff, you can do whatever you need to do. If you need to pay your insurance, you can do what you need to do with those funds. So that is very exciting, and it's the other really exciting thing about the program will be it will be a very minimal amount of paperwork or justification. So that's also a huge difference from many of the programs that are on the ground right now. So very exciting.
So we're not quite there yet, but when we are, or where should people be looking for that in a few weeks? Is that good to go to you? Or?
So we are going to, one of the ways that I'm trying to help SCOED get that on the ground, because it's a significant lift, is to help them with marketing. So you'll see it if you're in the emails for the Klamath Idea, we expect Casita and the Downtown Association, all of the partners of the Klamath Idea will be prepared to push that information out. So they'll see it in email, you'll see it on Facebook, and we'll do a press release when it's ready to go. And so we're going to try to use every avenue that we possibly can to get the word out to people and get the money on the ground.
Yeah, that's so important right now, again, as we move into economic recovery. Additionally, you mentioned that some of the previous programs, there's some changes to them even this week?
Yeah, so it changes the landscape. The sand shifts about every 48 hours for the last 3 months. And one of the big things that changed was I think it's called the PPP Flexibility Act, I think is what they called it. But the PPP program, the challenge with that program is...
And that's payroll protection.
You've borrowed money to pay your payroll. Exactly. You've borrowed that money to pay your payroll. And from the minute that money gets deposited in your account, you have 8 weeks to spend it. Well, if you're a restaurant and you haven't been allowed to open, like we've been in phase 2 for 4 days now, you really weren't allowed to open in a viable way. You can't get your staff back on board in order to get the forgiveness that was promised within that 8 weeks. And so now Congress has stepped up and said, okay, you have 24 weeks to spend that. You can spend, previously you had to spend 75% of it on payroll expenses, and now it's only 60%. So you can use it to pay some rent and some utilities, right? So that is also softened. And if it ends up as a loan, if you don't get forgiven of it, it will now be a 5-year note instead of a 2-year note, which lowers that payment, right? And the whole point is cash flow. We've got to keep our businesses with some cash flow for the next 4 or 5 years in recovery.
Right. Yeah. So best place for folks to get information about that?
You can absolutely call the Small Business Development Center and call the community college, and they'll transfer you to us, and we're happy to answer all those questions and support people in that. The other super important note, now that they have changed all those parameters, we were all skittish and fearful that people weren't going to get forgiveness, but there is still $160 million sitting in that PPP fund. And so for those business that were concerned that maybe it wasn't the right thing for them, or maybe it's only you, I think that's the other misnomer about the PPP, is people thought you have to have employees. Well, if you made a job for yourself, you are, right, employed. And so now I would encourage anyone who maybe thought previously, I don't think it's right for me, call us and we will walk through this and help you decide if PPP is right for you right now, or maybe you wait on the SCOED grant, but really assess that situation. Happy to help, and our advising is free to all people, so in Klamath County. So.
Awesome. And this is not to minimize the challenges that our business community is facing, but there are some bright lights. You said you're actually getting calls from people that are starting businesses now.
Yeah. Honestly, the every week the tenor changes, and the last couple of weeks I just picked up 2 voicemails of people wanting to come to our Smart Startup class, which is June 27th. We're going to do one live. We're pretty excited about returning to live instruction, but we're seeing a lot of inquiry in startup. And I think one of the things that's really important for our whole region to understand is that we anticipate coming out of this that rural will actually fare pretty well. I think for a multitude of reasons, people are going to want to get out of the urban areas for starters. We have the internet here just like they do everywhere else, and so that the landscape of how work happens has changed, of course, in the last at least decade. So there's some opportunity there for us. We live in a beautiful place. People are interested in the outdoors, and it's easier to avoid COVID in the outdoors than it is in a workspace anyway. So we have some really important opportunities, and we are seeing a lot of startup inquiries. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
That is really exciting. And just one last note, we invite remote workers. Come here.
Yeah.
Come live here.
Bring your little business here.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. We will take you. Kat, thank you so much. That was really, really informative. And Klamath County, thank you for being with us as we all get on this road to economic recovery together.